Another NPA failure or the right call? State drops charges against former Joburg Mayor Kibelo Gwamanda.
They were not even allowed to use the bathrooms while on duty. If you go to the toilet, they will deduct 20 rand from your salary.
The horrific conditions facing human trafficking victims. ANC reconfigured for action in KZN, but will the new tactics help the party revive? Hello, I'm Jane Dutton.
This is Eyewitness News.
7 Chinese nationals arrested in connection with the kidnapping and forced labour of 91 Malawian nationals in the Johannesburg CBD have been found guilty of 158 of the 160 charges brought against them. The National Prosecuting Authority presented a case before the Johannesburg High Court with charges including kidnapping, human trafficking, debt bondage and violations of labour laws. A witness testimony has revealed the harrowing conditions the victims faced.
They were not even allowed to use the bathrooms while on duty. If you go to the toilet, they will deduct 20 rand from your salary.
Former Johannesburg Mayor Kibelo Gwamanda admits his funeral policy business failed, but says he didn't defraud anyone. Gwamanda and his co-accused Mduduzi Zondo had their fraud charges withdrawn today at the Protea Magistrates Court. They were both charged with several counts of fraud for allegedly swindling Soweto residents in a funeral policy scam they ran between 2011 and 2012.
The state had no choice but to withdraw the charges because, as indicated previously, that there is no evidence that point to any activities that point to fraud. It is an issue of a politically motivated attack on an individual that is somewhat different from many politicians.
Western Cape Police say some of the guns being confiscated in the province are coming from outside the country. Police officials released the province's crime statistics for the third quarter of this financial year, while the murder rate for the period between October and December last year shows a decline. Gang violence still remains a major concern. Western Cape Police Commissioner Tembisile Patekile says discussions are underway to find a different approach to combating gang violence in the province.
We have seen the recovery of many AK-47 in the city of Cape Town in particular. And in South Africa, we are not licensing AK-47s.
Patekile said police have confiscated more than 90 firearms which were traced back to Namibia. As the prosecutor for the International Criminal Court, Karim Khan, arrives in Democratic Republic of Congo to assess the growing violence there, South Africa's soldiers injured in the fighting in DRC are receiving much-needed attention on home soil. The SANDF has confirmed that a group of soldiers injured have been successfully repatriated and are receiving high-level medical care. They were part of a mission by the 16-country Southern African grouping SADC to support the DRC government to fight against M23 rebels and stabilize the region. South Africa deployed more than 1,000 soldiers to DRC, and 14 of them were killed in the conflict last month. The Rwanda-backed M23 has in recent weeks seized 2 major cities in the eastern part of the country.
At least 3 injured soldiers who arrived back in SA this morning required urgent medical attention. SA National Defence Union National Secretary Pikkie Greef explains.
We know of at least 3 seriously injured members who need urgent medical intervention and aftercare. It's about saving limbs and possibly lives.
SANDF have not revealed the number of soldiers who arrived back in the country, but say more wounded soldiers are expected to be repatriated this week. SANDF spokesperson Sipiwe Dlamini.
The remainder who are not so critical are scheduled to arrive in South Africa during the course of the week. The South African National Defence Force, in coordination with other relevant role players, has worked tirelessly to ensure the safe return of our wounded members.
SANDF troops were injured in clashes with M23 rebels as the war in Goma, eastern DRC, intensified in recent. Arun Singh, Eyewitness News.
After months of talking about reconfiguring its executives in Gauteng and KwaZulu-Natal, the ANC Secretary-General has today unveiled those handpicked to help resuscitate the party in KZN. These include ANC veteran Jeff Radebe and senior party leaders Wezi Wetusi and Mike Mabuya Kulu. The party's also appointed a new provincial task team.
The provincial task team is established as the interim structure to oversee the stabilization of the organization, drive political education, and work towards the revitalization of ANC structures across the province. Additionally, the PTT is mandated to revive relations with Amakosi and faith-based communities, Amabandla, recognizing that these institutions played a foundational role in the rebirth and evolution of the ANC. The ANC acknowledges the historical and moral authority of these structures in guiding our society and affirms the need to strengthen our collaboration to advance unity, social cohesion, and transformation.
Freedom Under Law and Corruption Watch say the National Assembly behaved irrationally when it didn't consider the suitability of an impeached former judge to serve on the Judicial Service Commission, which considers candidates for judicial appointment. The civil society organisations alongside the DA are asking the Western Cape High Court to review and set aside the decision to approve the nomination of Umkhonto weSizwe parliamentary leader John Hlophe to serve on the body.
Till now, the National Assembly has attempted to operate in a democratic way. We accept that. That's what Parliament should do. But here, unfortunately, what Parliament lost sight of is this is not a political process. In designating members of the JSC, and I'm going to spend some time on the affidavit of the Speaker, because with the greatest respect, we say the Speaker got it wrong.
The DA has also presented its budget proposals today, which calls for 0 tax increases as well as cutting waste to raise up to 60 billion rand. The party says a tax increase of any kind will not happen under its watch, describing the VAT hike proposal of 2% points being both anti-poor and anti-middle class.
Point number 4, a comprehensive spending review to reprioritise 58 billion rand. We need a 3-month emergency spending review, which must be undertaken to identify wasteful and failing programs. This will allow the reallocation of funds to essential public services such as healthcare, policing and education.
And saying goodbye to a rugby great, Stephen Kitchoff, the 2-time Springbok world champion, has announced his immediate retirement from rugby. Medical reasons were cited as the reason for the 33-year-old Stormers prop's sudden departure from the sport after a successful 12-year career. Kitchoff underwent neck fusion surgery last year after suffering an injury during a Currie Cup match for Western Province. That's a great loss. Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you for more again tomorrow.
Eyewitness News, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, log on to ewn.co.za or ewn.mobi.